Right. I'm alive on my end right now, folks.
Yeah, I'm generally alive every day. Well,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Give me a minute here. I got some news. Glenn Tipton, if you want to look up this article,
Yeah, I'm
Glenn
gonna.
Tipton
Yeah, I was
mentioned
gonna
Spo
say we gotta definitely look into that, and I gotta.
never
Man,
speak.
boy, he gonna fire some. He went after a KK Downing for good one there. He had a lot to say about him there. Okay, I'm gonna look it up right now. I'm gonna do notes on my phone because you know how my computer is. Gets real slow whenever I use my Skype and OBS there. Right there. I know why it does that. I need to get my other old computer fixed and get that there. Blah 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 and all that good jazz there. Ark, did you ever see me call in on YR show at the hot topic there?
no, I need to do that, I guess.
Yeah, you got it. It's got
Yeah,
pretty interesting there.
don't listen to people when you're on show. They're making you do dumb shit in public. Like,
I
don't
know,
listen to them.
I know.
You
Well,
know,
well,
they're not there. They're not the one in the situation. Like, I hate that shit.
I know. But do you know how Vikings is? He's been lonely for a long time. I guess he's tired of listening to Tony and jerking off here.
Nah, but you
So,
see how like, now imagine like I know Art can understand like an innocent girl working in a mall store. You did nothing wrong, Earl, but
I
like
know.
just randomly
Yeah,
saying, from a guy, oh, like you have a phone number or something, and like she has to say she's married, like that's kind of uncomfortable for
I
her. So
know.
like
Yeah,
Vikings was wrong on that.
yeah,
Vikings was
yeah,
wrong.
yeah. He's in my
Let her
chat right
work.
now.
Is at work,
I
you
will.
know.
I know. I was going to do that. Well, you can't say. Well, you got to say it was good content there. Yeah, I plan on calling Ken when if he's live on Saturday. We go back for numbers there because I'll be there this Saturday after work. Okay, so here's the article right now. I'm reading this from GuitarWorld.com here, and Glenn Tipton, the guitarist from Judas Priest, has been firing back at former guitarist K.K. Downing, saying, quote unquote, his accusations have gotten sillier and sillier, and I deserve to respond. Now, following Downing's departure from the priesthood in 2011, his relationship with the band has been, least to say, not that good in recent years. When the guitarist quit prior to the band's Epitaph World Tour of 2011 and 2012, which at the time was conceived as their farewell tour, he cited an ongoing breakdown in working relationships between himself, elements of the band, and management for some time, given given away little in the way of further details at the time of his departure. Now, in 2018, Donnie released an autobiography called Heavy Duty Days and Nights in Judas Priest, in which he delved further into the reasons behind his departure, noting his relationship with co guitarist Glenn Tipton as a major contributing factor. Downey said, in quote unquote, I never found Glenn to be particularly easy to get along with. From early on, I was fully aware of the limited conditions in which he operated. If you're going to be if you're going to relate to him, you would do so entirely on his terms. Now, in a December 2001 interview with Guitar World, Downey noted how he never expected Judas Priest to continue following the Epitaph tour, adding, quote unquote, they didn't want any part of me, even though I was one of the only original members. And now, in the new issue of Guitar World, Glenn Tipton himself offers his side of the story and explains why, in his view, much of what's been said of Downing is totally untrue and unfair. Tipton says, quote unquote, I never wanted to get into a public argument after KK left. I have never said a word, and I stuck to my guns for over 10 years. But there comes a point where you read things that's been said that are just that crazy. It's time to say something, really, because he's been saying things that he shouldn't be really saying. They are not fair. He instigated. He said that, what's that word? Insinuated. There we go. He
So,
insinuated that he was the driving force behind the band. It it just isn't true. Priest is made up of five guys working together. There's not just one person driving the band. He said all these things that I think are meant to upset us and get us to say something in response, and for a long time we didn't. But I've got a lot to say, and enough is enough. One of the more personal jabs Downey had leveled at Tipton centered around his alcohol consumption. In the December 2021 interview, Downing claimed that Tipton's drinking before shows and in between songs was slowing us down. It made the rest of us feel insecure because it's just like you driving a car and somebody is drinking at the wheel. You just don't feel comfortable. In an interview with Guitar World, Tipton brands these claims as silly. He says everyone knows it's not true. Like I said, the fans aren't stupid. They've seen me for 50 years playing around the world. I may have had a couple beers on stage here and there, but that's all. It's never affected the concert or my performance whatsoever, and he knows it. Elsewhere in the interview, Tipton says that he used to piece Downey's leads together in the studio. He says he did a lot of editing to make Downey's lead breaks worthwhile. He says, quote unquote, I would have never talked about KK about that way. It's just that his accusations have gotten sillier and sillier.
But
And
keep in mind, real quick, I don't want to
yeah,
interrupt, but we need to
yeah,
keep in mind that Glenn Tipton has
Parkinson's disease.
Parkinson's disease.
Yeah,
I get that and the other one confused.
yeah,
But,
yeah.
and so he
Andy
doesn't
Sneap,
play
yeah.
live. He doesn't play live
Well,
on
however, he does.
occasion.
Yeah, he does. Appear pops in, I guess, towards the end for one song or two there.
But he's not a full time touring, you
Remember,
know.
I don't know. Well. It's hard to say, At this point, it'd be nice to have Tipton on stage with the Priesthood, but alongside with Andy Sneap as well there.
Yeah.
But that would make Yeah, I'm not. Um, it'd be interesting just if that would happen. Priest would be a six-man unit on stage when you think about it there. But then again, we don't know how the Parkinson's is affecting his ability to play. You got to keep that in mind. Now, on with the story here. Tipton says, I would have never talked about Ken KK that way. It's just that his accusations have gotten sillier and sillier, and I deserve to respond. He left the band. We wouldn't convince him to stay. And then he accused me of taking 6 years off to write two solo records. I only did those solo records, which was in the 1990s. One of them was called Baptism of Fire, because we were inactive at the time and Rob was doing his solo things. To Fight, the band Halford. And this is before they got Tim Owens as their frontman a couple years later when he released the solo record there. In 2020, Downey revealed that he had formed a new band called KK's Priest with former members of Judas Priest, Tim Owens, who as I mentioned, the Ripper, and former drummer Les Binks on vocals and
Which
drums.
they have a new album that came out. It's not that bad. Did you
Yeah, I
hear
know.
some of the
Yeah,
songs?
yeah. I remember you recommended it to me. I did a review of it. Oh, I mean, I put this on my
That's
channel there. Yeah, pretty good stuff there. Now, in the 2021 interview, Downey said that Judas Priest had threatened him with legal action over the band's name. Remember, it was called KK's Priest, as you know.
yeah.
Their lawyers sent a letter to my record label making threats of legal action if I went forward with the name KK's Priest. But for the moment, nothing happened. I think they made the threat but decided not to follow through. They made the threat to stop making the band. Now, Tipton stepped back from touring in 2018 after being diagnosed with Parkinson's disease 10 years before. This is in 2008. Although he joined the band on stage during their encores at Bloodstock Open Air in August of last year. In December, Rob Halford, their frontman, confirmed that Tipton would play on the next Judas Priest album. Halford said he's still a fighter. He never lets anything stop him. He's a great force for people that are living their lives actively and productively with Parkinson's. So he's still pretty much like that No Surrender song, a heavy metal hero. Priests are scheduled to hit the road this coming let me read that. Blah. Priests are scheduled to hit the road for their 50 Heavy Metal Years tour later this year. Richie Faulkner, who suffered a heart surgery, will be back with the band this coming December, has since recovered from it, and of course Andy Sneap, the producer and guitar player for other bands like Sabbath without the H at the end there,
Yeah.
will be resume his duties as second guitar player.
And let me tell you something. If you look at any live, 2020, 2021 Judas Priest,
Yeah.
Richie Faulkner, he has. I mean, the guitar sound live is spot on what you hear on the record. They play a lot of Painkiller stuff,
Yep.
album stuff, and I mean, he has that guitar. He has it down. He really does.
He does, yeah.
You can't beat the originators like KK and Glenn, but that back in that tour, that one that he left.
Mm-hmm.
KK, that was supposed to be the retirement tour. That was
Yeah,
supposed to be.
It was their farewell tour, yes.
And
I guess so. They decided, when they saw Black Sabbath come out with that album 13 a couple years later on, they decided, you know what? Why should we retire? We're not done yet,
And it's like Richie is now. I don't know if he's being strong arm, but Richie is being cool to where like he's being outspoken to where he's like saying, hey, this is silly, guys.
It is.
People are getting you're not every year you get older, you don't get any younger, and I think potentially with someone in the band that is outspoken about the situation like Richie Faulkner, the younger guy in the band, the youngest guy in the band, he I think maybe potentially we'll get that. It'll probably be like the last ever tour, but we'll get that KK back in Priest, which will be great.
Yeah, it would be nice. But the thing is, KK needs to realize that he walked away from Priest. He left the group, His spot was already filled.
Well, so did Halford.
Yeah, dude, that's true there, yeah.
So it's like, we can't have, just like in this community, you can't have double standards like that.
Yeah.
Like,
And I don't think Rob Halford has been taking the shots at Priest like he did like KK's been doing. When you think about it, I mean,
right.
Sure, when the time of the breakup, a Priest took a little shots at him. Obviously, well, for a good reason. It took about 7 years for the Priesthood to get a new singer, being Tim Ripper Owens. Because, of course, Halford is that damn good of a singer when you think about it. Because I remember reading that Luciano Pavarotti gave Halford the thumbs up at one point. But, I kind of agree with Faulkner and Tipton. KK just, going off on this end, that end, this end there. It's getting silly, dude, You have a band of your own. You got Ripper in your band. Once again, you're working with him. You got a tour to do, Concentrate on that and with your beef with the Priesthood there, Maybe in time you guys will come together again, but for the meantime,
it's kind of like
move on.
we're Judas. It's kind of like we're Judas Priest,
Mm-hmm.
right? The community, and like KK is the people like that are banned, and they don't understand that we want nothing to do with them, but they keep trying to
muscle
get
back
cloud,
in,
attention, all that, and basically they're like the KK Downings of Judas Priest, like what I'm saying?
Yeah, he wants some. Yeah, he's trying to get some clout, and then unfortunately, the way he's going about it is not that good.
Honestly, on that situation, it's like ultimately, like Halford probably has the most pull, so he should be like, all right, KK, I understand, come back, because you get that announcement that KK's back in the band, those live, for the concerts and stuff, those ticket sales will skyrocket.
That's true there,
Those
yeah.
tickets, they'll be sold out. There'll be more interest in it for sure. So it's like, bro, why would they have nothing to lose? Like, bring the original back, the one of the founding members, and just what so I kind of put it on Halford a little bit.
Mm.
Right, because he, like KK doesn't have any control coming in. Like Halford is the one I think saying, "Hey, let's not associate with that guy. Have any association with him anymore." You know what I'm saying? After
Gotcha.
this, listen, I have another news piece. If you want to look it up on Hart, I don't know
Okay.
if you want to dive into it. Hart got into some big disagreements backstage, like on their
Really?
tour, their last tour, like in 2019 or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
They had this
Really?
reunion tour,
Yeah.
and they're coming out saying that they had disagreement. That's why they don't tour together now.
Um,
Together, they tour solo hard.
uh,
But that's a very interesting news story on Blabbermouth if you find that one.
I'm
If you
going
want
to
to dive
find it
into
right
that.
now. I will do this. So, right now, man, Heart
So really, the two biggest
Blabber.
stories for the week, I found.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to find it right now here. Okay.
And
Nancy
Art,
Wilson says a disagreement with her sister, front lady, Ann Wilson over the band lineup kept Hart off the road last year there. Now, Hart guitarist Nancy Wilson spoke to Joe Rock of Long Island's radio station there about her new band, Nancy Wilson's Heart. She is joined on stage with her longtime collaborators, drummer Ben Smith, Andy Stoller on bass, keyboard player Dan Walken, Ryan Waters, and the singer Kimberly Nicole. Regarding why she chose the name Nancy Wilson's Heart, Nancy said, Hart has had a big offer on the table last year for a bigger tour, but Anne wasn't interested in going out with my lineup of guys that we were out before. She has a new lineup of guys that she wanted me to join up with. And I sort of thought, I don't really know them, so I don't have loyalty yet for
see,
anybody
that's
like
silly
that.
as shit. Like, aren't they sisters? Like, come
They
on.
are. They are sisters, blood thick and thin. They did everything together, wrote songs, toured together, laughed together, cried together when they broke up with their boyfriends.
They were lesbians together, right?
No,
Wasn't
they're
that?
no, they're not lesbians. They're involved with dudes. Nancy is, I guess, is still married to
No, I thought they
filmmaker.
had sex with each other. Like,
No,
wasn't
they
that a
never
thing?
did. No, they never did. That was all employed by one of their early record labels to sell
Uh,
records. What they did is their old record label, Mushroom Records, took out a full-page ad in Rolling Stone with one of the offshoot photos from the first record, Dreamboat Annie, when it appeared almost topless there, and they said the headline, it was only our first time. Now, it meant to be like it was only our first time hitting the charts, but it was perceived in a whole different way. And it was that, there was one point, there was one guy who was like, talking to Ann, said, how's your lover? Oh, Mike, he's doing pretty good. No, your sister. You two are lovers, aren't you? Ann got
mm,
pissed off. She walked away, and that's when she wrote down the lyrics to one of their signature songs, Barracuda.
uh,
So that's where that song came about. But they were never lesbos. I don't think that anybody would do anything like that there. That was employed by the record company Mushroom Records to sell records. Remember the three C's of the entertainment industry. Controversy creates cash. It worked for Madonna many times. It worked
Eric
for Ice.
Bischoff.
Eric Bishop. Yep, exactly. Remember, he has the book of the same name. And it works everywhere with movies, music, television. Remember when Roseanne Barr, fumbled with the national anthem? The ratings for her TV show went right through the roof as a result of that. If Michael Jackson would have put out a record during his trial of child molestation, that would definitely go through the roof. It probably would have sold more than Thriller did when you think about it there. Controversy adds to the thing there. It also worked for the Two Live Crew and Judas Priest back in 1990. Remember, the Priest was on trial for that backmasking in the
Yes.
summer of that year. No doubt, Painkiller sold a lot of albums when it came out as a result.
True.
Yeah, it's true. And God knows, when the news came about that Ozzy Osbourne bit that Dub's head off at that record company executive, that definitely no doubt added to the sales of his first solo record, Blizzard of Oz. That album went up to number 15 of the Billboard charts. Yeah. So definitely, they were never lesbians altogether there. They were done. They're into dudes. Bottom line. So I guess the name Heart we know and love so well may not going to be together for a while. They're on the outs with one another, I guess. Because I know Ann Wilson's been doing some solo shows as of late, I guess. And admit now, and Nancy Wilson's Heart made their debut as a special guest for the Styx 5-show 50th anniversary engagement at the Venetian Theater in Las Vegas. The concert saw join Wilson mid-show through some Heart songs and Wilson jamming to along with some Styx classics. There are some fan film videos that are below the article here. Now, Nancy's debut solo album, You and Me, was released this past May of last year on a label called Carry On Music. It was recorded primarily in her California home studio, working with band members and special guests remotely. Now, the Heart toured North America in the summer of 2019 after the split between the two sisters kept them estranged for 3 years. They had a falling out during Heart's 2016 tour when Ann's husband, Dean Welter, was arrested for assaulting Nancy's then 16-year-old twin sons in a backstage altercation in a gig near their hometown of Seattle. He pleaded guilty to 2 lesser assault charges to avoid jail time. Well, after completing the 2016 tour, Nancy formed a new band called Roadcastle Royal and released an album. And it featured, Liv Warfield from Prince's New Power Generation and her current guitarist, Ryan Wilson. Now, Ann will release her solo album, Fierce Blues, on a label called Silver Lining Music. There we go.
Well, Ark, you think we'll finish up the tragedies today with the years?
We're in 2009. What do you think?
Shit.
Oh, wow. That's pretty much there, yeah.
Probably 2 more, I'd think,
Mm-hmm.
because I'll try to speed through them.
All right, there. And after that, we got to get to the cover, good and bad cover songs there. We definitely got to dig into that, Dad.
Yeah, I've already got a list started.
All right,
And I'm
good.
figuring you 2 guys are concentrating more on the current, newer stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll probably stick with a lot of the old, but I'll bring up some new stuff too.
All right, there.
Okay. First guy I got to Billy Powell, used to be with Leonard Skinner.
Yeah, that's right. He was a keyboard player.
Heart Attack.
Wow, another for heart attack there. And
Well,
by the way,
natural causes.
why I was keeping tabs so you could send to Keith, and Keith had added it with the current list he
Doing it right
has. Mm-hmm.
Doing it right now, sir.
I see there. Yes.
Okay, next guy I got to Dewey Martin, played with the Buffalo Springfield.
I see.
Natural Causes. That's going to be a popular one.
All right.
Well, I say popular, but you know what I meant.
I know. Yeah, but it's been popular since the list started. We think you keep that in mind there.
Next one I got is Kelly Grocott, Electric Light Orchestra, Heart
Oh.
Attack.
Yeah, he was the. I think he was the bass player. I think he was.
Believe so.
Wow. Because he sang often backups with the Jeff Lynne on those early songs like Mr. Blue Sky, Sweet Talking Woman. And right now it says Jeff Lynne's ELO that's on the road right now, I guess.
Yeah. Kent Henry, Blues Image, and Steppenwolf both.
Ah.
So wait, like Jeff Lynne wasn't he was always a star, or like why
Yeah,
isn't
he
Jeff
pretty much
Lynne?
was always the guy.
Yeah, he
Oh,
was the
you
one
can't
who
call
wrote
it.
all the songs that did all the producing of those albums.
Wonder why he can't just call it the original name, Yellow.
I don't know. I guess I don't know. For some reason, people have a problem with that. Because you remember all the flack Tony Iommi got when he took a band of strangers and called it Black Sabbath. There was a lot of heat on them from Ozzy and Ronnie James Dio for doing that. That's a big risk when you're taking a legendary name and just taking it for your own and replacing it with all the original members with a bunch of new guys there. I mean, like,
Yeah.
for instance, the band Dokken. There are lots of people out there who would love, George Lynch, Jeff Pilson, and Mick Brown to rejoin Don Dokken, but Don Dokken doesn't need the aggravation, especially with Lynch, even though Lynch are kind of touring together, doing some
Yes, they play a
songs
couple songs.
together.
They play like 3 songs.
Yeah, but the thing is, Lynch and Dokken do not see eye to eye. And I think I remember during one of our episodes on this subject, they're Metamaniacs, they had even had a dragged out fist fight in the back of a limousine over management. They do not get along. They're like, basically like dirt, personality wise, Don is like water, George is like dirt. Often at times they make mud. But musically, they come out shining gold because they came up with some massive classic songs. Just Got Lucky, In My Dreams, Dream Warriors, you name it. Breaking the Chains, all of that.
Okay, his was Alzheimer's.
Wow, that's something there.
Next guy I got's Dan Seals.
From the
England Dan.
John, England Dan, no, excuse me, England Dan's brother, and Seals and Crofts.
What?
Yeah.
No, he was England Dan.
Oh, he was England Dan. Because remember,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you said, because you remember, you heard. I thought you heard, friend. I thought, what the fuck am I talking about, dude?
You thought he said is what you're
Jim,
trying to say.
yeah, Jim Seals at first.
No, Dan Seals.
Yeah, because I got confused with the name there. That was my bad. Yeah, that's sad because Dan Seals said they'd embark on a country music career after years after the two decided to call it quits there. I think it was in 1980 they decided to give it a rest,
Okay, his was mantle cell lymphomania.
which is
Or
blood disease,
lymphoma, I'm sorry.
which is cancer related, if I'm correct.
Right. It's natural cause.
Wow.
Boy, if we listed the different natural causes, we could really get into some stuff.
Wow, man. That's true there.
But
Some
we
of
didn't
these
want to
things I
get
never
into
even
that.
heard of.
Ron Stallings of Huey Lewis and the News.
And what instrument was he?
He died of multiple myeloma,
Was he
and
the
I don't know what he played.
Oh yeah, because I think one of the most other noted two other members was the drummer Bill Gibson. No, that's not Bill Gibson, the guy who looked like a nerd in one way. The younger version of Bun E. Carlos, the Cheap Trick drummer, and of course the bass player with the shades on, cigarette dangling from his mouth there. He was always well recognized as well there.
Yeah. Next one I got is, sorry I'm speeding,
It's okay.
Ian Evans with Leonard Skinner and the Outlaws.
Ah,
Lung cancer.
wow.
Bunch of natural causes.
Oh, yeah, that's all we've had today.
So far.
So, yeah, you would have had that. Sorry, I'm trying to hurry here.
All right, there. It's okay.
Brown, did you find a record at the mall? Did you find any?
No, I didn't. I was hoping to find me either Van Halen's Women and Children First or Fair Warning. I was hoping to find me something obscure that I haven't had on. I was also hoping to find me, by chance, a new remixed, remastered version of Pink Floyd's Animals, because that album was supposed to be remixed pretty soon there. They did this with the Momentary Lapse of Reason not too long ago, remix and to put on as a double album there. And
Yeah, you would think they'd do with Animals.
yeah, they were supposed to do that pretty soon there. But it's
Sky
unfortunate.
Sex. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. But the problem is
Sky-
most of the stuff they got out there is something by these current artists out there. Most of them.
Sky Saxon of the Seeds.
Sky Saxon. I don't think I've heard of that dude there.
The Seeds.
Oh, okay.
Heart and Kidney Failure.
Oh wow.
Then Drake Levin of Paul Revere and the Raiders. I believe he was the drummer. Cancer.
Wow. One for the big evil C.
And that concludes the 2000s.
Okay. And so that's about it, I guess.
No, that's the 2000s. We still got
2010.
technically 10
20
more years.
10 more.
22 more
Wow. Wow. That's something there. The first half of the 2 years, first 10 years of the 2000s, because we're still in the 2000s, just later on down the line there.
Yeah, we're fixing to get into 2010.
All right, so who we got there? Let's start off with her.
I gotta get there.
Give it a while, folks.
Yeah. One, I had to get there, and two, I gotta find somebody. Because a lot of these are either people I've never heard of.
Ah, see there. That explained. Yeah, I know you mentioned that a couple times there. If you don't find anybody you don't already know about, well, go ahead and skip that year there.
Well, I basically do that, and I skip groups that
You never heard of, yeah.
the Chi-Lites. I've
Who?
heard of them, but
Chi-Lites? Oh,
Yeah.
girl, I wouldn't matter if you leave me now.
Oh, girl, you make me feel so good.
okay.
All right.
Next one I got is Doug.
Doug?
Is that Fieger?
Doug who?
Doug Fieger. The
Doug.
Knack.
Doug Feiger.
Yeah, Fieger. Sorry.
I didn't. Whoa. Doug Feiger died?
Yeah, cancer.
Wow, that's a trip. I never knew about this until now. That's sad because he's the brother of Jeffrey Feiger, one of Michigan's top-notch lawyers. He was the backup lawyer for Dr. Jack Kevorkian for many years throughout the 1990s there until for some reason Dr. Death decided, I'm going to go this on my own, represent myself. I'm competent. I know I can get myself not found out guilty. And it turns out he got found guilty and sent to prison for a good number of years.
Okay, next one I got is Bud Cockrell. Was a member of It's a Beautiful Day. Complications from diabetes.
Wow, that's something there.
Yeah, that's one I don't like to hear.
No, same here. That's something I try to
You
avoid.
got type 1, right?
Correct, yes. Some of these
I got
artists out
type
there
2.
some of these artists have type 2, by the way, there. Lemmy Kilmister was one of them.
Yeah. Alex Chilton, the Box Tops,
Yeah, that's
the
the
lead
guy.
singer.
That's the guy who wrote The Letter, one of their only big hits
Yeah.
there. And he also had a cult following, a bunch of solo records, if I understand. He had a band called Big Star that was also a cult favorite as well.
Right.
A lot of talk about him there when you think about it.
Heart attack.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm looking.
Still looking there.
Like it says, a lot of people that, Ronnie James Dio.
Oh my goodness, that was a big shock right there for all of us. Now we already knew he had stomach cancer. It was reported as that, and apparently, for understand, he was He was here in Texas, seeking treatment for that. Him and his wife. When the news got out, a lot of the rock press was like in sorrow and tears over this. Many bands paid their homage. Members of Sabbath, Dio, everyone else paid tribute to him there, and they're still paying tribute to the guy. There are a lot
Yeah,
of
because actually he's one of your top singers.
yeah, absolutely. Next to Rob Halford. And when you think about it, there's a project I saw. There was a video I saw of a lady named Melody. Now, she's a very young girl. She's about 18 years old. She has one of the most powerful singing voices ever there.
Kremlin.
You okay there, Wire?
Oh, the Kremlin. Listen,
Okay. Okay.
I was on mute and I was talking. I just fucking looked.
Oh,
So,
okay. Yeah.
Bret Michaels has diabetes.
That's true. Yeah, type 1 like I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyway, back to the story.
You do the daily shot thing, right?
Correct, I do, yes.
Yeah, mine's pill medication.
Well, that's just something you got to look at for this. I remember hearing about that years ago there, when I was first got it. There was two types of medication that you take. The only pills the only pills I taken was the zinc and my regular multivitamins each morning. That's about it there.
Yeah, I take zinc and several vitamins, and I am on some medications because of my diabetes.
Yeah, I know.
Dialysis.
That's true there. Okay.
Next one I got is Peter Quaife, so the Kinks.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm still on the thing here. I gotta talk about this. Lilac is a Romanian, and it means bat, vampire bat. And it was a name of a choice from a young family rock band from Downey, California. All siblings are ages around 20 to 12. They've been out together as a band for 5 years, starting out street performing in the Santa Monica Pier, and is now touring nationwide on major stages. They recently played the gig here in Houston, Texas, and their singer Melanie, she was involved in a project featuring Vinny Appice, the drummer who played with Dio and Black Sabbath. And I saw a video of her doing the vocals for the song Country Girl, which was a Black Sabbath song for the Mob Rules album. And holy fuck, she has got one powerful voice. Without any question. Look it up. Look up Vinny Appice's Sabbath Nights, Country Girl.
I'm sorry, Earl, but
What?
it's like women's wrestling. Like female rock singing, it really just does nothing for me. Not really a big. I'm like a Lita Ford guy, not a big Kitty guy, not a big Lacuna Coil guy. Like women Evanescence guy, not really into. And against women, it's just I don't know. I feel like women rock, or bands like Kitty and Lacuna Coil with with the female singer. Evanescence, I think those are geared more towards females to listen to. Yeah,
well, What about a metal? What about a Norwegian death metal band called Asagram, which is all female but performs death metal or black metal?
I don't really listen. I can't do the screaming, the over screaming thing. Like,
Yeah. I was just bring that up because some of the rock that I think the one that's directed towards the more female, mostly bands like a Vixen there when you think about it, because it was more safer than what something that what came out later on in the 90s with bands like Kitty or in a band called Fluffy. But who knows? There's some bands out there, some girl-fronted bands out there that could just go out there and really stomp the hell out of it when it comes to singing there. So, I don't know, to each his own there. I was a big on the Anna and Nancy Wilson myself. The album Baby Lestrange, that was one of my favorites from Heart. Next to Dog and Butterfly. All right. Go ahead, Art.
Next one I got is Captain Beefheart.
Oh, wow. I never knew he died.
Complications from multiple sclerosis.
Wow. Holy cow. That's a trip.
That's a new one.
I know. It was kind of funny is that, his album, Trout Mass Replica, is considered a massive cult classic, because it was one of the most strangest records out there. Musicians of his band were just playing all over the place, but yet it made a lot of sense in a lot of ways when you look at it.
Well, it's funny because he kind of emulated Frank Zappa.
Yeah. Frank Zappa was like one of his buddies, and a mentor in a lot of ways. They did an album get together called Bongo Fury. It was a live release.
Yeah.
Yep. It was a pretty good album there. I had it myself. Pretty damn good record there.
I shouldn't be surprised, but I was kind of surprised that you'd heard of him.
I have, yeah. Many times. Heard about him many times. Go the way before I was a teenager there. And I've listened to stuff. I was tempted to buy Trout Mass Replica, but I don't know why I still didn't there. But when I listened to some of the stuff on YouTube, it was like, holy cow, this is some wild stuff there. Give this to the average listener of something like Fall Out Boy, and they'll be like, huh, ooh, ah, he, huh? Just freak them out a little bit there.
Yeah. Next one I got is Jerry Rafferty.
Oh my gosh, that's a big one right there because we know him. He was the guy who wrote and sang Stuck in the Middle with You with his old band Steelers Wheel, and he had a solo career soon afterwards. I had one of his albums, Baker Street, City to City, The Ark. I had that album, City to City, that is. I remember hearing it at one of the classes of my schools there, and then, I had to tell my mom, buy that album for me for Christmas, along with Abbey Road. Definitely. And she did.
Cool.
And it was a good record there. It brings back a lot of memories. And Baker Street, I remember, was a massive hit on the radio around that time.
So it was right down the line.
That's true, yeah. That was a big follow-up there.
Liver failure.
Oh, wow. That's sad because he wrote some good songs there.
Yeah. Next one is Gary Moore.
Gary Moore, the ex-Thin Lizzy guitarist. He really
Heart attack.
Yeah, no. He had a solo during the 80s. He had a couple of good songs. He did this massive, powerful version of "Shapes of Things," the old Yardbirds tune.
Oh yeah.
And it was a massive version of that album, of that song. And he also had this song called, I forgot the name of it, but I remember hearing the video and seeing the song, seeing the video and hearing the song on the old MTV there. And for a while he had Ian Pace, the Deep Purple drummer, with his backup band there for a while there. He later converted as a blues guitar player, and he found success in that. And let's not forget, as of course we all know, he was him and the late Phil Lynott back in 1985 did a duet together called Out in the Fields. That was a big hit on the UK radio there. I think the video's still up there. In fact, in 1987, he released an album called Wild Frontier, which he dedicated in the memory of Phil Lynott. And his song, Over the Hills and Far Away, would later be covered by the band Nightwish. Because I remember my ex-girlfriend...
one of those female-fronted groups.
Yeah, exactly there. I remember Tarja Turin, who was the singer at that time, they covered that song. I told my girl at that time, when she was listening, check out the Gary Moore version. She looked it up. It's like, oh, wow, it is the same song. Wow. Yeah, so, yep. When I first heard the title, that's the first thing came up. Because I remember hearing that song way back in 87 when that record came out.
Yeah. Next guy I got's Rob Grill of the Grassroots. He was their singer and guitar player. Complications caused by stroke.
I see there. Having a stroke is not fun, folks, I should say there. It can fuck you up in a lot of ways.
Yeah. He,
Look at Tim
Grassroots is a
Curry.
pretty good song.
Yeah. Look at Tim Curry. He's in a wheelchair now. He often has trouble trying to speak.
Yeah.
The actor, man, and it's sad. Very sad. I didn't know Tim Curry had a stroke till a long, long while back. I was like, holy shit, what happened there? But, you got to be careful. You don't make sure you don't have one. Or don't do
Right.
anything that would lead to one, because that will fuck you up, man.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Next one is Dan Peake of America.
He was one of the other members, I guess, right?
I think he was one of the top 3 of them.
Yeah, because for America, the band was a 3-piece unit. When it came back in the mid-'80s there, with You Could Do Magic, there was 2-piece there.
I think Peake was the one that was gone,
Oh, okay, there.
but I don't know that.
I don't know. I should probably look it up sometime there.
Boy, just call it natural causes, but it's fibroil is a bunch of words.
Oh, yeah. So it's somebody you can't even pronounce, correct?
Right.
I know. Remember, a lot of these medical terms we are unable to pronounce. The only one that was able to pronounce was a thing called osteomyelitis. That was about it. Everything else is like, huh? Who can you teach me how to pronounce that? How you spell that? Because these are long-ass words.
Next we got Sean Bonnewell, who is the leader of the Music Machine, 60s group. Lung cancer.
And didn't they do the song Talk Talk?
That's the one.
Because Alice Cooper covered that song on his record, Flush to Fashion. I remember hearing that on the radio, and I even had the album itself there. That's another record I like to get on vinyl if that ever is reissued, next to $1 Billion Babies.
Yeah, that they were essentially known as a garage band.
Yeah. And we remember, I think we did do a cover. I don't know, did we ever cover that group when we were doing our Garage Rock series there?
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
Because they were one of the leaders.
Yeah.
Next one I got is Larry Reinhardt, used to be with Iron Butterfly.
Wow.
Complications from cirrhosis.
Wow. Multiple no, it's just cirrhosis, right?
Right, cirrhosis of the liver.
Okay, because I see there. Makes sense.
Then, golly, come on. Sorry, my eyes are doing funny.
Wow.
Bob Weston of Fleetwood Mac.
And this was the original lineup.
Yeah.
Because remember, this
gastrointestinal.
Because remember, Fleetwood Mac was an all-male lineup way back in the 60s.
Intestinal cancers, intestinal fortitude.
Gastrointestinal hemorrhage.
I see there. Wow.
That'd be natural?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yes. Remember, Fleetwood Mac was...
Any death that has to do with like body parts or body organs breaking down is considered natural causes.
Yeah, that's probably pretty accurate.
I guess so, yeah.
But, yeah, he was part of...
The original...
Fleetwood Mac went through several different lineups.
Yes. I know so many people only know the Buckingham Nicks lineup there, or the Rumors lineup, as we often call them. But there was many other members of Fleetwood Mac. One of them, Bob Welch, who committed suicide in 2012. Big sad, because he came up with some damn good songs there, including Sentimental Lady, which he first recorded with Fleetwood Mac and later on his own with his own albums. French Kiss, an album which I recommend as well.
Next one I got's Ronnie Montrose.
Oh my goodness. He had the band. He was the guy behind the band Montrose with Sammy Hagar. Right. Remember the song Little Bad Motor Scooter? and Rock Candy. And he also was involved with, I guess, Edgar Winter's band for a while there. Prior to that,
Yeah.
he later had a band, and later on called Gamma. Some of their songs were played on the local radio there. Another one departed from us, unfortunately. There.
Suicide by gunshot.
Oh my gosh, that's even more
I wonder why
shocking
he would
there.
do that.
Good
Like,
question. I was going to ask
was he jealous
myself.
of Sammy getting more success and stuff? Sammy Hagar, like, I mean, what was really? Did they have beefs, him and Sammy, or?
I don't know. For what I understand, from Sammy's point of view, in the interview, he stated that he was the one writing so many songs, and I guess he got booted out for doing that. That's a kind of an odd thing, but it was. I'm not too sure. You got to really look it up. Talk to Sammy about the whole thing there if you ever get a chance to ever interview him about that whole situation. But it's kind of. I don't know, but probably the guy came down with a condition that was uncurable, where he was unable to play, kind of like what happened with Keith Emerson. But
Right.
we do not know. Maybe the guy was feeling way down on his luck and wasn't able to pick himself back up. We may never know.
Next one is John Lord.
From Deep Purple, the organ player, and that was cancer, if I'm correct, right?
No, pulmonary embolism.
Oh, because I heard it was the evil C word there. Right there. My bad. All right,
What
go
was
ahead.
that?
Oh, that was my phone there. I was looking something up, and something came up. One of those little pop-up ads coming out there. Blah 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 blah. All that bullshit there.
Scott McKenzie.
Okay, Scott McKenzie, the guy who wrote San Francisco.
Yeah.
This isn't a drama show. Come on.
Okay, I'm not.
What?
Why would you bring up his name?
Scott McKenzie.
You
Oh.
bringing up his name, bro? Oh, all right.
Yeah, I was
Dead
gonna
Notes is the
say.
singer.
I like you said something else.
Yeah, he was a singer. Yeah, he wrote a song called San Francisco, and there was a big hit in the '60s
Be sure
there.
to wear flowers in your hair.
That's right. There, if you go to San Francisco, you're going to see a lot of people there. Those are the two
And
opening lyrics.
natural causes.
Yep.
Let's just call it.
All right.
Joe South.
Who wrote this original Hush that Deep Purple covered?
Right. Heart disease or heart failure.
Yeah, he released a couple of records of his own, if I remember, yeah, as well. But he's
More than a couple.
yeah. In fact, but he's mostly known for that song "Hush," which Deep Purple covered on one of their, I guess it was their one of their earlier albums with the Mark One lineup.
Yeah. Actually, it was the very first hit.
Yeah.
Well, shoot.
Mm-hmm. All
I'm
right.
trying to not miss anybody important, but I'm trying to skim over the list as fast as I can, too.
All right. Go ahead there.
Yeah, going ahead is easier said than done.
Wow.
Oh, Ed Cassidy,
Oh.
Spirit.
Oh, the drummer for the band. He was how old was he when he passed away? 80 or something there?
89.
Wow. Wow, that was good.
Cancer.
Wow. Big Evil C struck again.
Yeah, and it's funny because when Spirit came out,
He was the oldest member.
easily, and he was as old as my father then,
And
which was weird because,
And how old was he when Spirit Day made its debut?
I'd have to do some math on that one.
Probably let's see, about 40 or something like that, I guess.
I think he was in his 40s.
Oh yeah. And back then, when it was kind of awkward for an old man to be in a band with a bunch of young kids at that time.
Yeah, but one of them was his son-in-law,
That makes a lot of sense there. So they decided to
Randy,
put
California.
who also is no longer with us. Makes sense now.
Yeah,
And we know Spirit's song, I Got a Line on You, which was an essential classic there. And of course, we
yeah.
cannot forget the Alice Cooper version, which I preferred over the original there. Look up the Iron Eagle soundtrack from 1985 there. No, Iron Eagle 2. My bad. My bad. Duh.
Next one I got is Lee Dorman, who was a member of Iron Butterfly.
Another member of Iron Butterfly passing away. There's no original members left, I guess, in that group.
I don't think so.
Mm.
Natural causes, though.
Mm. Wow. That's sad. Very sad there. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
What time is it? Because I've got to 2013.
2013, okay, there, 2013. We could go assume, we could do a little bit on 2013, that's for sure
A little
there.
bit more because I want to watch. I want to watch the news at 7.
Oh, yeah, because of the, what's going on with the Russia and the Ukraine, right?
I watch my Tucker and I watch my Hannity.
Oh, yeah, I see there. Yeah, by the way, we got to talk about what song is trending right now. I mentioned it earlier on your show, YR, because of the situation with Russia and the Ukraine. I saw it on Twitter, and wouldn't you know, I would not be surprised. War Pigs by Black Sabbath is trending right now on social media. And it was I mentioned in a vlog I did earlier about it. It was also, that song was a big trending as well as prior to the first Gulf War happening back in 1990.
Okay, well, we pick up 2013 when we resume, and we can discuss other things right now if you want.
Okay, we could do that if you like. You know, it's like
because it is
almost
2 minutes till 7.
Minutes to 7. Yeah, no. YR said he likes to watch the news of what's going on there. Understandable. I know the news was on all day when this whole bullshit started out at our place there. I know when I was out earlier, before I went out for the afternoon and came back, my brother-in-law advised me to be careful because there are going to be some possibly crazy motherfuckers that are going to try to nab you for something like that. All that stuff. People are going to go crazy because we got this war over the Ukraine and stuff there, blah, 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 anybody will be like, oh, come on, that's over there. It's not going to happen here. But you never know with some of these goof rags around here.
Know.
That's true. You could never tell. Geez, if I could be sitting near a gas station trying to call in Ken's program, a bunch of teenage doofuses are going to accuse me of being a predator. You never know.
True.
People out there are a bunch of sick, twisted motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true there. All right, so why are you? Jacob RP is officially gone from your channel for about, what is it, $50, I guess it was? YR?
Yes, we took a payment of $50.
Because I remember seeing that when I was watching.
Listen, everyone's got to keep in mind, that might be a low amount. Like, oh, you took in more for other people, but that's going to help me I'm getting this new bed thing.
Oh, I see there, yeah.
Because my back's killing me every day.
Wow.
And, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to get a new, which I'll be getting within the next week. So, thank you for those who contributed. Yeah, RP is causing too much issues. And I didn't want to deal with the extra stress. I mean, people.
He was when he was on your last show a couple of nights ago. He was going off on this and that and this there. He was like raging when you look at it there, raging at Ken, raging at this person, raging at Dave Rose. It's like he was out for blood when you look at it.
But listen, he'll be. Yeah. Like the rest of them, he'll be eventually. I don't want to do drama on here or whatever.
Okay, I know, but he's going to be pushed way aside. Yeah.
We have to forcefully sail him away.
Yeah, there. Well,
purchase the boat and put him on the sailboat.
I know.
You know.
Well, like I remember there was the talk of him and I doing a wrestling show about our disgruntlement with today's pro wrestling. I'd even mentioned it when it called in about possibly calling in on this show here afterwards, discussing it with me and Arknolia because he had some wrestling commentaries he wanted to throw in. But now, fortunately, he's gone, so we'll let it die. And we'll just put that way in the back there, that idea that is, and just move on from here,
Good by me.
Yeah, it's good, because I don't think, we all know Ark here doesn't want to deal with any drama,
Yeah.
No, and I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we're looking. Well, yeah, I know. I found out earlier on. You think we could? Oh, yeah, I was going to say Dave Rose can come on the air, but fortunately, he's live and he's too busy with the topics he is discussing there. So, I know I'm going to plan on being on Numbers nightclub this Saturday. They're having Underworld night again there, and Ken, if you're listening, dude, I'm going to try and call in again. At this time, freaking pick up.
Oh, yo, Brown.
Yeah.
Dave Rose is taking calls, so if you want to call in there.
Yeah, let's go. Let me add him onto the call here. Let me see if we're going to... Let's bring the guy in. I'm going to do that.
Well, be sure and text him first.
Okay, well, usually let me see if we can find the guy here.
Mark, we do appreciate you, brother. You know
okay,
what I'm saying?
we could do that. Okay, there.
Thank you for time with us, Ark. And
oh, yeah. And we look forward to continuing our list starting with 2013 next Monday. Yeah. All right, there.
Sure, get all that done next week. Let's try to get it done next week, both of them, or the rest of it.
Yeah, the rest of the year is up till now here.
Okay, sounds good to me.
All right, so that's good there. All right, there. So I'm going to add Dave to the call here. I'm going to call in and say hi there. Give it a couple of while for this for the ad word to come up here. Blah blah blah. I don't know why. Son of a bitch! It does this to me all the time. You try to add something there, it's like, boom, something goes back to start. Happens.
I'm adding.
All right, good. Yes, go ahead.
Got
There
the ball. Oh, apparently there's you guys are hijacking my show. I got it.
What's up,
Dave? You
Dave?
want people to call in. You wanted people to call in.
Yeah, but as long as you're not talking music.
No, we're not talking.
No,
we're done. We're done with the music right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, yield to the cheese man himself. He's taking time out of his busy day while he's neglecting his family, because I do that myself, and he's here to address the matter.
Dave, real quick, that's what I told Brian. I'm like, let's cut the show a little short because I was gonna watch the news anyway, and I was like, Brian had some time. I was like, let's call it a Dave show. Let's talk about this wrestling situation and stuff.
Yeah.
Brian, Cheese, go ahead, brother. You like that, right?
Cheese boy.
He fucking railroaded. I didn't even know you were fucking here. You brought the whole crew with you. No, I mean, I can share my schedule with you if you'd like, Dave, but no, I'm not neglecting my family. My daughter's at a dance class, and I just got home from watching one of her watch-alongs. So.
Dave.
Thank you.
Hey, I got a rag.
Oh, hey, I've got to respond. I'm.
No, the proper response is rag on, dude.
I'm actually just getting into my research for the day of figuring out exactly what's gone on today with everything and prepping and all that. So I wasn't even prepared to call in.
Have I helped a bit with at least guide you with what you'll be discussing tonight?
A little bit here and there. I mean, I haven't been able to catch the whole thing.
To me.
Well,
okay. So you haven't watched the whole thing. I thought you were just like poo-pooing my ability to speak the news in my unique fashion.
No, as I said, the daughter had a dance class watch-along thing, so I was participating in that.
The dance company that owes you money, that one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to send some hired goons down there personally.
Oh.
Oh, I could certainly give you a piece of my mind on what I saw today.
Oh wow!
Certainly not earning their money, but yeah. I mean, as I said, I'm just now starting to try and catch up with what's been going on today. The Chernobyl thing, from what I'm seeing from Associated Press, is that Russia took Chernobyl over, because I did hear the part.
Yes.
where you
Yeah, that's
said
what
it
I
was
said.
conflicting. Well, you said there
Well,
were
yeah,
conflicting.
there was conflicting reports, but the majority of them indicate that Russia took over it. But again, that's why I was always constantly bringing up, well, there's conflicting reports, but again, the majority of them seem to indicate the Russians did that, and that's why I explained, well, why would the Russians do that? I said literally at the border with Belarus for one, and it's on the way to Kiev.
And
Exactly.
and
It's what,
isn't
160 miles, something like that.
Yeah,
130.
exactly. I think
And
it's
it
60
was-
miles.
Wasn't it put out commission years ago? It's not an active
No.
nuclear. thing?
That was the one that exploded. There's 3 other reactors there.
Okay, I got you.
Oh, it might have been kilometers I saw now that I think about it. That's probably why it's 100 something. But anyways, so that was one thing I heard that I wanted to check with you on and see what you thought about, because although you said conflicting reports, yeah, I've seen a majority of things saying Russia also. And so these must have all been airstrikes that hit the center of the country, like Kiev and
airborne troops landed in Kiev, like with helicopters and shit at the airport and took it over. And then there was massive firefights there, and that's another, again, conflicting report. The Russians took it over. No, the Ukrainians took it back twice. There's a lot of conflicting stuff. No, it's crazy.
Wow.
Oh, there it is, 130 kilometers / 80 miles. Yep, right there. So if they had the ability to take over the airport and put feet on the ground, then why go through Chernobyl? Why not just fucking drop in? And I mean, we're talking about fucking Russia.
Chernobyl is at the northern part of the country.
Right.
So to get to Kiev, it's basically, it's passing Chernobyl. They cut off Chernobyl. They've got the ability to cut off electricity to a lot of the country. Because it's a generating station.
I get what you're saying. So they can also take advantage of getting to the capital city when, but really that's what I'm saying is with the airstrikes and the ability to drop in helicopters, why not just attack from the air, drop in and start taking over?
Because because it's not as black and white as the West wants to make it sound. They don't want to destroy key infrastructure for Ukrainians. It affects the entire country. It affects them as well as having to deal with it. It's something that they could leverage in regards to, okay, we've got control of these things. Let's negotiate. We're going to give them back to you. But you got to negotiate in good faith with us because clearly, you're causing these issues. So there's a lot of propaganda from both sides. And, when it comes to infrastructure, they're not necessarily looking to destroy the airport. I mean, again, like, for example, when the Americans fled from Afghanistan, for example, the Taliban moving in did not destroy the airbase. Why? Because they want to fucking use it too. They need that infrastructure as well. Just because the Americans built it doesn't mean they're going to destroy it. So same thing is that the Russians don't want to. They really aren't this evil empire that the West is trying. Well, West media is trying to portray them as, and they're. They don't want to destroy this infrastructure. And it also doesn't make any sense if you're actually waging a war. If you're waging a war, you want to reduce the casualties, the hate that might come from people that oppose you there, and ensure that you have the ability to move around the country and to utilize these resources so that your troops don't end up fucking without any fuel, without any power, without any ability to communicate.
Right. No. So to clarify, I certainly wasn't suggesting destroy Kiev. Kiev. I've heard it pronounced both ways. But anyways, I was just saying, the objective would be to get to the capital city, right? If you're trying to take back over.
No, but that's if they want to take over the whole country. If they want to, again, their issue is on the borders, along Russia. Kiev has the ability because, so there's an airbase in Kiev. I say Kiev, but it's, again, I explained earlier in a little diatribe that apparently it's pronounced Kiev.
Okay. Kiev.
Yeah, apparently that's how it's pronounced. And the Ukrainian said that. But the major airbase there with military stuff. So what they've been doing, which has been published, is, and this is from both sides, is that they've been going after military infrastructure, tanks, airplane hangars, like military plane hangars, not like their international airport, nothing like that. And, an international airport also has the ability to accept military jets and such. So what they did was they prevented any ability for any intervention from military troops outside that area, and took control of, the place where they would be able to launch attacks against all these either airstrikes or the actual troop invasions that have been going on along the eastern border and such.
So the end game isn't to reacquire Ukraine; it's to take certain elements of their country and implement it into theirs.
It appears that way. I mean, that's how it starts off. I mean, again, these countries say we're ethnically Russian. These borders don't represent who we are. And we have ethnic struggles all the time with these groups. We don't see ourselves as part of Ukraine. We want to join Russia. Then they have a vote in that region. And these people, majority of them vote, yes, we want to join Russia. So Russia says, well, we've got these two areas that clearly identify themselves as ethnic Russians, and they want to have autonomy over these regions, again, falsely created due to Soviet imperialism, and they want to join us. Well, we acknowledge and recognize your existence. They're not saying we want to take this over. They're not saying that we want to take all of Ukraine or Europe. Again, that stupid journalist who was saying, do you think he's going to go further than Ukraine? Is he going to keep moving and take over all of Europe and stuff? I mean, it's ridiculous. Russia is a shadow of its former Soviet self. It doesn't have as many resources as it used to have. Financially, it's a lot more crippled than it was in the past. And they can wage war. They also have their trump card with nukes, but they don't want to do that because it works against them.
So I guess so they're just taking little bits here and there, because like Yeltsin did this back in the 90s. He took a little piece out of the Ukraine, and then Putin's done this once or twice in his regime as well. So I don't know. It just seems like little by little Russia's trying to take it all back. So I get why that person asked that, but it's they're going to take all of Europe. All right, calm down, lady. But
hold on, it's NATO who's been expanding its partners for quite some time, since the fall of the Soviet Union. And again, NATO is supposed to be set up specifically to counter the Warsaw Pact. So that Soviet menace no longer exists, and it's unnecessary to have this sort of organization which continues to add more and more countries into this alliance, which is really just, not only is it surrounding Russia, but it's antagonizing them on purpose. If anybody wants to say who's trying to take territory, it's fucking NATO. It's fucking the globalists and shit. So bear with me here, because I want to show you this image on the screen here. But this is NATO. On the stream right now, you'll see. Hold on, that. Whoops, wrong one. There we go. Okay, so here you go. And I think it explains it fairly well for people. You can see the containment that's going around Russia, at least from this European side.
I see it.
Around Kazakhstan and other countries. They've been installing bases around there as well. And you can clearly see Ukraine's the yellow one. Okay, so it's aspirations to join. They still haven't joined. So any actions against them by Russia doesn't count as an act of war, and doesn't require Article 5 to be invoked, which is if you attack one of us, you attack all of us, and now we all get involved. But look at that. That's all fucking covering, a lot of Russian territory and such. And what they're doing is they're attempting to move further and further closer to Russia, and basically take the territory from them and try to instigate more of these conflicts.
I'm looking at it right now, man. Wow.
I guess my viewpoint of NATO, and obviously there's the controversies and such, but it has been just a unification of country, but maybe unification isn't the right word for me to use, but a coming together of equal opinions, I guess, or somewhat equivalent opinions between countries, and not unifying, but coming together in the sense of having each other's backs, I guess. So I've never really looked at NATO as some big growing world power to be just one world unit.
Well, they do try to impose their views on people, and even the European Union did propose that they make their own military force separate from NATO.
I thought they were to begin with.
No, the European Union is an economic collection of countries.
Right.
I have a
But
little
they're
question.
proposing that they create an actual specific military force for them, which doesn't represent any particular country. It literally represents a conglomerate of all these countries. And and they already have NATO.
My only
Gotcha.
question is, how would this will affect us in America, Canada, in terms, of economic wise, because earlier
Very badly.
because I remember my brother-in-law was telling me about, people were running to this grocery stores, to stock up on food, paper plates, and all the shingdings there, ahead of time just in case, And he's even said if I ever go out, be aware, have a knife with you, just pocket knife that is, and just to make sure that nobody tries to gang up on you, just to steal something from you, whether it's your wallet, credit card, if you buy cigarettes for us later on, make sure make sure you look out for anybody that will try to swipe them from you and such, because we got these lunatics out there thinking the world is coming to an end to get all you can, and it's just really, it's just that's the last thing I need is our economics, going down the fucking toilet because of all this, But if I understand, it may happen. Great.
That's how it always works.
I know.
Unless you're
geez.
investing in the military-industrial complex, you should get some great dividends from doing so.
I should probably do so. I should have gotten an investment trade a long time ago when you think about it.
As
got
much
another
as I jest about that, I could never invest in any sort of company like that. The moral and karmic implications are quite far-reaching. Let's continue. Who had something to say?
Well, I found another article from Reuters. I was actually getting ready to read this before I called in, but headline, France says Putin needs to understand NATO has nuclear weapons. You don't think he doesn't understand that? Seems like posturing.
Newsflash. Stupid frog needs to understand that Russia has the most nuclear weapons on the planet. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you always did.
It was France's foreign minister asked whether Putin's threat of such consequences that you have never encountered in your history was to threatening Russian use nuclear weapons in the Ukraine conflict. Foreign Minister Jean, whatever the fuck, said it was indeed understood as such. I mean, would there even be a need to use nuclear weapons if you're Russia when battling Ukraine and doing what you're trying to do? It seems such a jump.
No, it would be counter intuitive. First of all, a lot of that fallout will head towards Russia. They're going to poison the area that they want to supposedly take over, or at least recognize. It doesn't make any sense. If anything, there would be tactical nuclear strikes on any forces that attempt to get them, and the yields of them are much lower than Russia basically opening up a silo and firing off a SS-18 ICBM and striking all of Europe with 20 nuclear warheads. No, they're not going to do that.
What do you think the odds of this being the beginning of World War III is?
I think if somebody is dumb enough, it could start. But
because I think you mentioned something earlier about China,
Exactly.
China and Taiwan.
Well, again, it can escalate. China might take this as the opportunity to attempt to invade, especially because America is distracted. They've got all these resources dedicated here. China could take, and plus Biden has shown total weakness throughout his entire fucking career, to be honest. They might take this as the opportunity to say, this is the time to invade Taiwan. We know the Americans are caught up in all this shit. And if they do act, it's going to be too late. We're going to be established on the island, and they won't be able to get us off. And unfortunately, I think that does have actually a possibility of starting World War III. Why? Because the Japanese have said, we stand with Taiwan. China tries anything, we attack. And China straight out said, our policy has always been about retaliatory nuclear strikes. If someone strikes us, we'll strike them with nuclear weapons, but not when it comes to Japan. In fact, we'll go so far as to say that they deserve what happened in World War II, and now we change our policy. We'll strike them first if we think they're going to attack us. All because they said they would defend Taiwan. Now, what many people don't know, but I'm sure China does, is that Japan has been running a covert nuclear weapons program since at least the early 70s, if not earlier. They said basically they had internal agreements that said never again, and that if anybody tries shit, they're going to, retaliate. And they were specifically concerned with China because of the communist influence. So they've not only ensured that they've got strike fighters like the Americans that are specifically made to hold what's called a B12, B6112, I believe. It's a free falling nuclear, their hydrogen bomb. So it doesn't come from a missile. It actually, again, you have to have an airstrike. You have to have a jet fly in low, come out, and then just drop the bomb and get the fuck out of there before the explosion happens. And these things are called variable yield nukes because you can actually change the amount of explosive capacity it has. So Japan has been developing these things for a long time. If you want to follow the clues as to where it leads about this program, all you got to do is look up Japan nuclear accidents. And then you're going to actually start to pick up the trail of this totally factual story. And, if China tries to invade tries to invade Taiwan, Japan will retaliate. And even South Korea has sort of postured themselves and supported Taiwan, said if China attacks them, we get involved. And they recently revealed that they're now in control of hypersonic missiles that they developed natively in their country. So they're ramping it up as well, and they're basically showing that they're willing to involve themselves. So the problem with Taiwan is that they are an American ally. If China does invade, that will force America to get involved. And that might then in turn, again, cause either a nuclear retaliation strike from China or them to demand some sort of treaty with Russia, which will then in turn force Russia into that conflict. And then we have World War III.
It's interesting you mentioned the Japanese nuclear incidents because it's basically once a decade if you look at it. And we've just passed a decade since the Fukushima incident. So interesting.
Spills, you want to look for spills as well. I read so many of these things, and then deeply looking into it, you find that they've said this privately and they've said this sort of unofficially, but the record's there. And when you start to trace it, you find out where these things are made, where they're held, what systems they're built into, and what delivery systems are available to them. And Japan has actually been working on their own stealth fighter for quite some time because America refused to sell them the F-22. So they're just about ready. I think it's a 6th generation fighter, but it's stealth capable, and it doesn't turn into a mech. That would have been very cool. But yeah, they're ready to install these weapons into these systems.
Like I said, I'm still getting into all the news from today, so I haven't quite caught up on all that. So I don't know what more I can add at this moment. Earl, you're still here.
I'm
What else is
still
on
here.
your mind?
I'm still there to listen to all the information pass. Like, cause this is kind of like takes me back to when the first Gulf War was about to hit around later 1990. It's just like there was a lot of level of concern back then. Like people were predicting, this was biblically predicted that someone would come in and terrorize, and blah blah blah. And I'm just makes you wonder. It's like, are we heading towards the near the apocalypse with all this bullshit going on with the COVID-19, this situation here? It's just at the same, it kind of bugs me a little bit because we as a country are going to be affected by all this either which way, not just for the things that I previously mentioned, but I think in other situations as well. In terms of getting goods from Russia and other countries, that may be affected as well because of this.
Mm-hmm.
Possible.
Yeah. And plus, I don't, and the last thing we want is any of our soldiers, going over there, I understand if we need to, that's understandable. But, after losing so many people from the second Gulf War, which, in my opinion, was another Vietnam, compared to the first one there, it's just, really, it's just, you know, I'm sure, it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder what the fuck is going on here. At the
All
same
part
time,
of the plan.
I
It's all
know.
part of the plan. Divide and conquer and use fear tactics
Exactly.
to convince your populace
Yeah.
to do what they are told.
Because kind of like it seems like a starting of a one world order. It kind of seems like when you think about it there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's what they want to do. That's what they're pushing, the Great Reset.
I know, and I wonder and makes you wonder. If Trump was president, I'm thinking if Trump was still president at this point, probably the backlash would be 20 times worse.
Well, no. See, that's the thing, though, is that it
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have gotten to this point.
Mm.
Trump would have flown to Russia
Mm-hmm.
to discuss this personally with Putin.
Putin, yes.
He would not have, caused this sort of instigation. And we also know that him nor his sons have any connection to shady deals in Ukraine.
That's true.
Meanwhile,
yeah.
I showed that image earlier. I don't know if you guys were
Nah, we were still live with our
watching,
other show
but,
there.
basically, let me just find it here
All right, there.
somewhere.
It's kind of thing when you think about it, Biden, it's just I'm still pissed off at Biden for allowing the Taliban to take over all of Afghanistan, whereas Trump would have said in troops that said to clean their clocks.
A lot of those weapons are starting to appear in other places around the world.
I know.
So, looks like it might have been a deal that was arranged by Biden's administration to leave those there and maybe get some favors later. But
most
that's
likely.
exactly what occurred.
I know, but I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised right now because it just seems like it's usually that if anybody would agree with me, when we have a Democratic for a president, we see a lot of turbulence going on in other countries and here in the homeland. It's like, does anybody agree with me on this one? Because I know when Barack Obama was still president during his second term, we've seen the multiple rise of terrorist attacks in England, France, and most of them are Muslim related and such. And it's like, the Democrats are allowing this to happen. They're allowing this, these other forces to take over the world. But then again,
because they're in on it.
Yeah, exactly. Why. Because they want their.
Did you see the graphic that I have up?
Not yet. I'm checking it right now. I have it on my. I'm looking at it right now. Yep, I got it right now on my phone here. Yep, absolutely. Kerry, Biden. that other guy, and
Romney.
Romney, and of course, ugly Pelosi. Pelosi the Gorgon, I should probably call her. I'm surprised Jar Jar Harris ain't involved in this.
Oh, she probably is in her own way, but
Yeah,
just no
there are a lot
children.
of them are.
Yeah,
And this
yeah.
is just a short meme list, but I've seen lists of many, many people who have things, some sort of involvement with
And
Ukraine.
all this here, yeah. So my heart's got. I don't know. Right now on Facebook, a lot of people are posting, a lot of their profile pictures with the Ukrainian flag underneath there. So a lot of people are looking down on this bullshit here. With Putin saying that Biden is the aggressor here, and such. But come to
Biden's the aggressor, but yet he's the one making the invasions.
exactly. Putin, I meant to say. My bad.
I mean, I get if he actually used that terminology, it's off. I could see where he may have felt forced into it, but the aggressor is the one who makes the move.
I know. And I guess Putin is the aggressor in this case here, but we don't
Well,
know.
well, I don't know, because these people who voted that they wanted to leave, these regions and stuff, then had these pro-Ukrainian people. I don't know how you'd call them, but the Americans, or the West, calls the people that want to join Russia separatists. But what if they just want to be independent? But you've got the pro-Ukrainian ones that have been actually, for years. There's been a civil war going on in Ukraine for years. The media doesn't want to cover it, but it's
No.
a civil war. And they were mortaring schools. So the pro-Ukrainian ones were mortaring schools in these contested regions. They were going in with troops, shooting people, causing damage, all that sort of thing. So the fighting has been going on for years.
Yeah. It's just not that covered because obviously, as you said, the media.
No, because because Ukraine financially is their ally, because they've got so much dirty money there. So they're never going to make them look bad. They're just going to put stories out there that make them look good and make the Russians look like this evil empire.
Mm-hmm. The empire there. The empire.
Well, I mean, everyone does their own posturing, so I don't think there's any one innocent being in this scenario.
Well, I never said there was, but
No,
I mean, clearly Ukraine is instigating Russia on the behest of America, as is America with many of their actions, including all the bases that surround them. Lack of desire for communication or even cooperation. And like I talked about when I reviewed the clip, Biden said, I have no plans to talk to the Russians.
Wow.
Which
Yeah.
is dumb.
Yeah, but so basically he should talk to the Russians at this point. You say.
Well, if you claim that you value peace and you don't want civilians to die, then yeah, you would immediately be on the Moscow.
I would be
Washington
there, yeah.
hotline.
Yeah, because the people in Ukraine, they're the ones who are going to suffer the most.
The citizens, yeah. I mean,
Well, they already are.
I know, yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, there'll be more to come sooner or later. Now the
What do you
question.
think?
Go ahead.
What do you think, David? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Earl.
No, go ahead. Now,
Oh,
I wonder.
Dave, do you think Putin's a bad guy, or is he a guy that's misunderstood?
Well, I'll have to be blunt. The guy worked for the KGB. You don't got no saints working for the KGB. Okay? You got to be willing to kill. You got to be willing to strangle someone to death, gouge their eyes out. You don't get pussies
Yeah.
working with the KGB.
You don't get to be a pussy.
At least in the role that he was doing.
Yeah.
All right.
But so I can't. I mean,
Let's put it
I
that.
the type of person that does that type of job, I can't necessarily call a good person, because they know what they're doing, and it's not necessarily good things.
Okay.
Is what he's doing right now in the best interest of the Russian people?
I don't know.
I'm not too sure. I think that he's always had the best interest of the Russian people in mind. with the way that he's been able to run the country. He's been able to take control of banks that were, causing a lot of problems for the country and so forth, causing a lot of, issues. And I don't want to go too deep into that because that's something else.
I heard that he kills people, but it's the bad guys that he kills. He keeps the bad people out of his country.
It's a little too simplistic for me to understand.
It could be bad. There could be bad people, or it could be some people that he may deem as bad.
He's recognized, like he's done a lot to protect Christian sites. Support the traditional Russian sort of system, I guess. Not system, but I mean like. What's the best term? It's just the
fucking
culture.
Destroy everyone on this goddamn call. Oh shit.
What the fuck?
Oh wait, sorry, wrong show.
But yeah,
oh, dude.
I think he's done a lot to try to protect that, compared to especially those that ruled before him, the oligarchs, and from what I've seen, he's been
people out of his country.
What's that?
He keeps the Illuminati people out of his country.
Keith, what's the rule about talking about that around Dave?
Is that another JB rule?
Yeah, I
JB
tell
rule
him don't talk about the
805.
Illuminati around Rose because Rose doesn't fuck with that shit. You know what I'm saying?
And plus, Keith has a habit of saying this person's with the Illuminati, that person's,
Just call them. Hey, Keith, just call them the elite.
Okay.
But yes, actually, I believe in '97, moves were made by Putin to remove the Rothschild Bank from Russia, and instituted instructions and rules and laws that they are not allowed to operate within Russia by any means necessary, like by any circumstances.
Yes.
Or under any circumstances. So, I know, I guess, where you're going.
All right. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Keith, for the great question and input.
Yeah.
Welcome.
I think
You're the one who barged into this, YR. What's on your mind about it?
Listen, I'm in and out because I'm trying to watch my shows. So, my other shows.
Yeah, he said he's going to watch a couple of programs. I think it was the Fox News Network. Yeah.
Oh, so he prefers Fox News over you, Dave. You hear that?
Oh, please.
I think it's not just the ankles now.
But I want like an opinion like Drew's. Like Drew, do you think us Americans have anything to worry about, or should we just continue our daily life?
If Biden butts his fucking nose in it, then yeah, because Russia's capable of a lot, and if Biden fucking butts his head into something he shouldn't, which it sounds like it's going down that path, then who knows what fucking Putin will do. Putin's already said that he could, fucking wipe out the planet if he wanted to. So
that's also being blown out of proportion as well by the Western media, where it's like Putin calls for a nuclear strike on the West. That's not what he was saying.
No, but I mean, he could, and he's.
But that's how the media.
Yeah,
is.
Obviously there's that capability. But I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm saying the West again. Will Russia take over more than just Ukraine? It's the same thing. It's just like they're thinking like he's just gonna nuke the world, and he threatened to nuke the world. It's like, no, he was saying, shit, we got to be careful. We're both nuclear, we've got nuclear armed countries involved in this situation, and we don't need to go there.
Putin said that?
Yeah, he was talking about it. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but
you said he, so I just wanted to make sure I had the right he. There.
It was earlier this week, I believe. I believe it was when he talked about the initial support and stuff when he recognized the two regions. But he was just warning, obviously, that he's not looking for problems, and that when you involve nuclear weapons, that can be a big problem. But he wasn't threatening to say, "Oh, I'm going to use nukes against America if they try to support Ukraine."
Right. Well, and that's one problem is that when our media covers what's being said, we hear what Biden says in this case, or whoever the president is at the time. We hear from the president, but do we really hear from the opposing president or leader, whatever country they're in? And it seems like the media really suppresses that. Like, to hear what Putin has to say, you really have to dig it up. To hear what Biden has to say, you just have to flip on your TV.
Which we'll be seeing a lot more, obviously, there.
Well, I mean, hopefully it would be nice to hear everyone's perspective and actually get an unbiased opinion. But, of course, you know, our media doesn't want you to have an opinion. They want you to believe what
and
they
again,
believe.
remember what he said while I was reviewing this clip is that, we'll see how the sanctions take effect. It's like, but you're the one crying that all these civilians are dying, but you're willing to wait another 30 days to see whether or not these sanctions actually work and stuff. It's so transparent, so hypocritical, and it's clear that he really doesn't care about the people. It's like, oh well, let's just do these sanctions. Like, but
Yeah, right.
It's just so stupid.
Sanctions my ass.
No,
Dave,
but they asked him during that interview, why don't you sanction him right now? Why don't you sanction Vladimir Putin right now? And no, it's going to have great effect. It's even bigger than, the SWIFT payment system.
All right, now, Drew, to speak your point, you did bring up Biden if he meddles. And I'm looking at the screen, Biden considering cyber attacks on Russia. See, I thought it was going to be the other way around.
Yeah, they're all going to do it. It's I think Dave even said this earlier. It's the new way of doing things.
Do we have to?
It's part of war
our bank
doctrine,
account?
and there was a cyber attack on Ukraine a few days ago. Their bank systems went down, Department of Defense websites went down, all these sorts of things.
Do we need to empty our bank accounts? Cash out, Drew.
I know. I was told about taking out some of my account for myself there.
You got money in Russian banks?
No, I don't.
No,
Here in
can't
America.
can't they hack and turn the number to zero like how they're doing to Canada with the truckers?
I mean, they could do
See where I'm
anything they
going?
want cyberly, but I mean, why fuck with the average citizen when
Bro,
you can
as
fuck
an
with
American, a fellow American, what are you doing to prepare for this, Drew?
make sure your guns are nearby? I don't know. I mean,
Like we do. And be on
make sure
guard,
you're stocked up on water and essentials.
Yeah,
just in
we
case.
did that earlier today as well there. And like I was
Got the
telling,
M16, Dr. Earl.
What?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Got the M16 on hand, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got that. I also got a few pocket knives that are with me as well. Plus, remember my.
Do you have a bayonet for your AR-15?
Bayonet?
Yeah, you know what a bayonet is, right?
Yeah, it's true there. Yeah, I've never used it, believe it or not. But I was, but my sister taught me how to use a regular handgun not too long ago at the other place we lived at before I moved into this place there. I'm still
Shit,
looking.
son, you lived in Detroit. You should be able to shoot that gun sideways and hit a target.
Yeah, she recommended not doing that. That makes you. She said, "You're not a thug, girl,
I know.
dude." I know.
It's a joke.
I know.
It's a joke.
But you know what? I might do that someday.
No, it
doesn't matter.
You don't want to misfire.
I know.
Don't waste your time.
That's how you
shooting your gun
misfire.
sideways.
Yeah.
That's also how you ruin your gun.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah.
You know how else you don't misfire? Make sure you're close to your YouTube on Friday nights.
Oh. Ooh.
And
But
that was
Dave, this is no disrespect to you, but Extreme Shaft, if you have a fucking problem with Keith, won't you fucking tell him? And stop shooting digs. All you do is shoot digs towards him. That's all
you can
say.
actually. Yeah, you can call in if you want.
Yeah,
Extreme
I'm
Shaft.
glad you brought that up, man.
We get it, bro. We get it, dude.
Because remember, because
the moment being.
Yeah, because a lot of times he's been in my chat a couple of times talking about the same thing, regarding Keith.
Yeah, it's like I'm not that anymore. Like
like he has to remind us every day what Keith with the Keith Pass bullshit.
That
like
stupid webpage doesn't define me.
Stand up for yourself, bro. Come on, get him.
Yeah.
And fuck you to the Costanza too.
Okay. Both.
Whoa.
Scott lines are open anyways, but
yeah. What did Costanza say, dude, Keith?
Same shit.
He's agreeing with Extreme Shaft.
Well, let's have Costanza call in.
They're trying to be edgy by bullying Keith about his past. Like, real great, guys. Real awesome. Real funny. Yeah. It's kind of old if you see it every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I already
Fucking
told it.
nigger. You fucking nigger. Yeah, you want to
Whoa.
go, dude? You want to fucking go?
Whoa. Holy shit, dude.
I already told Extreme Shaft.
All right.
on
You
Skype.
know that word's not allowed here. You can't
Not
say
cool,
fuck.
dude.
Sorry about
Oh,
that.
wait.
Apologies.
No, actually, you can say fuck. All right, carry on. All right. So,
I get passionate. I get mad.
hey,
Oh,
I accept
That's
it.
understanding, yeah.
The emperor allows for his general to speak freely. That's fine.
Thank you.
Not the stupid trolls out there who are so desperate to be part of this community. But I will allow you to speak freely. And Drew, if you want to get drunk and get heist on the call, and then replay the scene from back in the day, then I encourage that as well.
I'm sure you do.
Or if somebody can get TJ to call into the call, I'll replicate our previous encounter.
You want a hard hitting question, Dave?
As long as it's not to the balls.
No. It is pronounce the Ukrainian president's name.
Zelensky.
The first name.
Last
Last name's pretty easy.
I can't remember his first name, so give me a second here. Let me look it up.
It looks like, well, I'll
give,
let you
give,
say
give me,
first.
give me the opportunity.
Okay.
Volodymyr.
Wow. You even said it like you were drunk just like them,
Yeah.
You said it with a pint of vodka in your mouth.
Vodka. Well, I had a lot of Russian friends growing up and stuff, and I was always fascinated with Russian, especially with their weird, Cyrillic language. But
Russian girls.
yeah,
there.
it doesn't appear to be that difficult. I might actually be able to.
It looks more difficult than it actually is. When you go to sound it out, it's not too bad,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. And the characters are fairly easy to recognize once you realize, oh, backward N sounds like a C or whatever,
Or why is an I? Volodymyr Zelensky.
Volodymyr
That's his name, huh?
Zelensky. So, yeah, rumor has it that he's hiding out in Poland. Don't have obviously any confirmation about that, but that is what a lot of
So
reports...
he's hiding away while his people are being trampled on by the Russians.
Yes.
Well, he did go
Obviously.
to Twitter and put out a statement. He said Russia has embarked on a path of evil, but Ukraine is defending itself and won't give up its freedom.
While he's hiding away up there in his little bunker there. That's
We
the
won't
same
give up our freedom, but I will by hiding in a bunker.
I know exactly. I know. I was going to say that's the same thing that Saddam Hussein did during the past two Cold Wars we had. Just hide out while his people out there fight for him, while he's stuck away out there going la di da, jerking out the gay porn, while his boys up there fighting, defending the name of Allah, and getting trampled on.
Dave, you mentioned you mentioned a little bit. You touched on it. What you thought the sanctions would actually do, if at all. But what was your perspective on that, or maybe
that basically, like if you take a look at all these other countries where sanctions have been used, like for example, even with North Korea, you've got a situation where like it doesn't really weaken the ruling regime. It keeps food away from the people, but those elite continue to eat caviar, have sex with prostitutes, have the latest, stolen technology from the West, but it doesn't affect them. And we saw this, at least 1 million people dead in Iraq because of the sanctions that Clinton put into place.
Yeah. Travis Steele, CEO, said it best. He said, quote unquote, Shaft, I understand your contention with Keith, but don't just interact with him, which you don't. But that doesn't mean people who do support that path, if that's what you think, which you may not.
Well, apparently Travis will finally get out of his Chinese slave factory in 9 minutes. So, he'll be able to call in and respond. And yes, we do expect you to respond, Travis.
Yeah.
Great point by Travis.
Yeah.
But,
We're still waiting for a Shaft to come in here and
yeah, if
explain
you want to
himself.
call in Extreme Shaft, the
Yeah.
phone lines are open for you.
Yeah.
Well, they're open to anybody, really.
Everyone's open.
Why is Russia invading Ukraine and starting a war with them?
Are you asking me that?
Yes.
I've been going on for literally close to 3 hours.
Well, he just joined in. He was at soccer practice earlier on, so.
Explain to me again how that's my fault.
Okay.
Dude, that was loud.
Look, it took close to 3 hours to explain how we got here properly. You can't do it in 3 seconds.
Right, I got it.
I'm also talking to Dr. Earl here.
Ah, yes.
It's like honestly, it's not fair to me, dude. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to the audience to basically say, "Oh, well, Keith's here. He hasn't been listening. He was doing this. So go ahead and just explain it to him." It's like, no, man. It's just, you know, I've been doing so for the last 3 hours.
The best thing to do is Google it. Watch the TV shows.
No, that's the worst thing you can do.
Okay. Then.
And the worst thing to also is watching TV because they're telling you all propaganda. I've done the fucking footwork. I've done the work for you people.
Yeah.
I'm telling you there's conflicting information on both sides, but I've been following this quite,
Which I've been listening when I joined in.
So, again, understand where I'm coming from.
Yes, I understand well.
And, consider donating. There you go. There's a donation. Hi, Shid. Hi. That applies to you, too. You can also donate. I'll take AR-15s. That's not a problem. Handguns as well. Texas rattlesnakes. Stetson hats.
Cowboy boots.
Know that you're down there in Texas. Dr. Earl. So you can send any of one of those up to me. I'll definitely take one.
All right, there. We'll probably send you a couple of the rocket ships from our NASA station here.
Yeah, that's cool. Shit, what's it called? Fuck. Johnson? Is it Johnson Space Center?
I'm not too sure. I don't know. We drove past it when we were heading out to Galveston to vacation there for a couple of days. There was a couple of years back. I'm looking sometime possibly my nephew go there to check it out there.
Oh man, I can't. This is a big. You've got Cape Canaveral. That's a huge spot when it comes to rocket launches. You've got Vandenberg Air Force Base, I believe in California.
NASA's on the way to Galveston, like Clear Lake area, Clear Lake, Texas.
Yeah, but you don't even know the fucking name. Yeah, I was right. Look, your emperor not only is your greatest first and only ruler, he was correct again. It is NASA Johnson Space Center at 2101 East NASA Parkway, Houston, Texas, USA. I just doxed you, NASA. Bitch.
It makes it easier to go get there now when on next have day off.
The one thing I learned about Galveston when I was down there is if you want to sweat your balls off at 2 a.m, just go to Galveston. Hot as fucking. Well, with humidity.
I have been looking for a place that is a proper ball sauna, and I guess I've got a new vacation place to go.
Nice.
Just go bar hopping in Galveston.
Yeah, they have a lot of those at the shore side there, along with that theme park they have. I forgot the name of it. It's Pleasure Island, I think it was called. If I'm correct. If I'm not, feel free to correct me.
Pleasure Pier.
Pleasure Pier. Thank you. Yes.
Say Pleasure Island. That's either a theme park.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing there. Yeah.
All right.
Pleasure Island used to be
silence. All right. Let's try this third time. Third time's a charm. Extreme Shah says the show is about Russia and Ukraine. Stay focused, boys. Well, what I did was I first started to talk about Canada, Emergency Measures Act, all that sort of thing, or the Emergencies Act as it's called now. And I exhausted that. I went into a lot of detail there. Then went right into the Russian stuff, the Russian-Ukraine conflict. And I've been talking a lot about that. I've gotten people's opinions. We've gotten Drew, for example, to share his opinion on the show. We've had Dr. Earl share his opinion as well, even YR. So I believe, and I think I said this prior, but I do believe that I did say that I thought that the topic was exhausted, that there really wasn't much more that I could add, and that I think I've done the best to, keep it as simple as possible, even though it took me 3 hours to literally get to, what I thought was a good sort of conclusion. And I think that the topic's exhausted. If you want to call in to either talk about that's great. Or if you want to talk about what's being said now with this drama stuff, okay, that's cool too. Oh,
It's like
he's just been released from his
about
Chinese jail.
Uh-oh.
It's the
Couple
one and
minutes
only. It's Travis TLC. And yet,
he
for
was
some
just
reason,
talking about pedophiles in the chat, bro. He's not gonna.
I don't know why it's not fucking working.
I'll add him in, Ken.
I added him in, but it's not.
Ken!
And my fucking phone is
Damn it.
being stupid.
Right.
God damn. It's fucking stupid.
Dave, I'll.
Yeah, add him in if you want. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, go ahead.
So,
I was
like,
going to say,
I don't
let
understand.
YR
He
try
called
to add him in.
I added him in to Skype on my computer. The phone decides to go fucking stupid and ring and ring and ring, but it's still not adding him on my computer. Like fucking Skype, especially on the fucking phone.
Stream
The
chat.
Skype app is fucking trash.
It is. I think it's maybe it's fucking the Russian shit hacking and all that, actually. Because my shit was fucking up earlier, too. Like, I press mute and.
No, Microsoft's always been shitty and trying to make. As soon as
That's
Microsoft
true,
took
yeah.
over Skype, they started to really fuck shit up. And I remember I was working with Joe, and like they were literally releasing an update to Skype every week, and Joe would have to constantly either upgrade or then downgrade a couple of versions just to get it to fucking work proper.
Oh, gosh. I cannot tell you
all right.
I cannot
Ladies and
tell.
gentlemen, straight from Shanghai, straight out of the Foxconn factory where he's kept as a slave sometimes. I guess he said something about President Xi. We have Travis TLC.
Right.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello there.
Good evening.
How's it going?
Excellent.
We are doing well there.
I'm putting PP into clips.
My my belly is actually full now, despite Dave's efforts to keep me from eating.
Oh,
Yeah,
and turn it around on me, neglecting your family members.
The family members that aren't home.
Yes,
You
exactly.
may proceed.
So,
All right,
Dave,
Travis.
I don't really have like a lot of opinions about this Ukraine thing because I don't know a lot about
That's
it.
fine.
But obviously, I think it's a bad situation. It's not good for Ukraine. It's not good for any of Europe or America or Russia,
I
for
know.
that matter. Putin is living up to his reputation. This is what he is. And I don't think our president is handling this very well. I think he's just making it worse and driving Russia right into China's arms and just bringing those two countries closer together. And I think it has the potential of becoming really bad. But I don't think Putin is a very stupid person. So I don't think he would do something stupid, but he is rather unpredictable. So you never know.
Co-conspirator.
As I told you before, Putin's very intelligent. So is Hitler.
I want to ask Travis about his views on China's involvement. That was what I was really interested in because, like I was going on about, China is an ally of Russia, and if America wants to fuck around with one of their allies, they can easily start to, America wants to enforce some sort of sanction on Russia. China easily has the ability to invoke any number of types of tariffs, just straight out denials of dealing with companies, suing, literally kidnapping people or forcing them out of the country at force, or by force. So I want to know your views on how China may react in regards to this, and what clout? Again, this is great fucking talk here, but and great segues available. But what clout do you think that China can sort of move around and sort of, show to other people to get them to do what they want?
Well, I think it could honestly go either way. On the surface, China likes to give this illusion that Russia and China are cohesive and cooperative with each other, but internally they hate each other. And depending on how it goes and what Putin does, China could turn on Russia very easily in this situation and make it really bad for them.
How so? What do you think would take to do that?
That's the question. I think if NATO and America and the countries involved with that, if they perpetuate this and they make it worse, China's probably going to side with Russia. If Russia acts stupid and makes it worse, China could easily turn on Russia. And it would then Russia's got nobody, really. Other than a few of those countries around them, they've got nobody.
So what happens then if China does that and then goes after Taiwan? So you've got conflict between the West and Russia, but then you've got now West and China over Taiwan. At that point, don't you think Russia might be able to turn as well and say, hey, now we're allied with the West, and now we're going against you, China?
Yeah, that's true. It's a sticky situation, and this is the time for China to make a move on Taiwan. There's no better opportunity with the president we have.
Strategically speaking, and I don't like the idea either, because there are a lot of people who die, and Taiwan is fairly heavily defended as well. Like, they can't overwhelm China, but they're going to defend themselves quite well. And yeah, well, strategically speaking, right now is the time while this distraction is going on, which it is, for China to make moves onto Taiwan, bring it back into the mainland.
I don't know if a Chinese invasion of Taiwan is literally like boots on the ground type of thing. I think it would be more a governmental takeover than like a physical thing.
How can you enforce that, though?
Well, all China really needs to do is just get their people in and take it over that way.
But the populace, though, the populace is vehemently anti-CCP. And, they just wouldn't accept that from those leaders. Again, even leaders that were elected that said that they want to soften policies with China, they were elected out. They have nationalists that run for their countries and stuff. They don't want to be part of China, and they say that they will actively fight against that. So if that change were to occur, it's just one day, then the new government is like, oh, we want to be cool as China. Let's consider, reunification. The populace will see right through it, and there's going to be fucking armed, conflict, because there is a conscription in Taiwan. These people are fucking well-trained. They're well equipped too. The Americans been giving them the good toys, and you can be guaranteed that these people will remove those people from government. So I don't see that opportunity occurring, Travis.
Yeah, and you may be right. Like I said, it's a very sticky situation with Taiwan. So
what are you, Cartman now? A stinky situation. You ever see that South of Ark episode?
No.
No, it's funny. Check it out at some point. Please continue.
Speaking of China, real quick, Travis, here in the last 30 minutes, China's embassy in Ukraine to organize charter flights to evacuate Chinese nationals. There's currently around 6,000 in Ukraine.
Oh, I'm sure they want to get out of there. Yeah, I don't think it would be smart to be there. This is the opportunity for China when it comes to Taiwan. There's no better chance with this president in this situation and this whole distraction. This is it for them. If they don't make a move in the near future, that would be rather surprising. But China taking over Taiwan, it could be a physical thing, and trust me, China could easily take over Taiwan.
Of course they would, but Literally, but it would turn the tide. Like if they can't take that country over without decimating the entire island and killing every last Taiwanese on there, they won't be able to take control of it. But if they do so, the tide will turn in regards to the public opinion of them, not only internationally but internally. The people are going to say these are our fellow brothers. You know, we were divided by politics and stuff, but these were our fellow brothers. We were one China, supposedly, according to you, CCP. And you know, I know that would definitely cause internal strife, more riots, and, you know, probably a lot of political dissent from, and I would see that might even lead to the cause of the destruction of the CCP, because it would, like, too many people of the populace, again, 1.3 billion, I believe, would just be so angry about that. The politicians that know that they could be killed easily by all these people would be scared. And then those that are actually nationalistic who have chosen to be in these positions, because I'm not saying that everybody who's in these parties is bad. Like, they've been forced into it. But, you know, a lot of them, you know, are trying to move for reforms and all that. And they'll say, this is unacceptable. I cannot support this party. And yes, I know what fucking can happen to me. I could face a firing squad, but I support my people. And this is what the communists fear so much. If a nationalistic uprising occurs in China, it's over for the commies. Absolutely over.
Wow.
And then they'll easily rejoin with Taiwan, because then they'll finally say, no, we need equal representation, and we don't want a communist system. We want a nationalistic one which recognizes us as Chinese.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't see China.
It's my assessment. I know that I'm rusty on my Asian, geopolitics, but would you agree that my assessment is somewhat correct?
Yeah, it makes sense, but there are a
You can
lot
You're
of Chinese people that are on the side of the CCP, and there are people in Taiwan who are on the side of the CCP too. It's not quite as clear and cut. And there's Hong Kongese people that are also on the side of CCP. But there's a lot that aren't. So
so that goes to the first word you said, Hong Kongese.
Hong Kongese.
No, I know, but like Hong Kong, me, like commie.
Sounds like
communist.
Almost sounds like a
English
porn
isn't your
star
first
name.
language, Travis. So I do apologize.
I don't see China wiping Taiwan off the face of the earth. That would be stupid.
What's the benefit? What's the benefit of, like, even like for the resources and all that stuff? Like, what's the benefit of literally leaving a country like irradiated, or at least just so ruined that, like, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah, they'd be fucking themselves doing that. I'm sure Taiwan is like the majority of where the computer chips are manufactured in the world.
Yep.
I think they're close to, is it 85% or is it 65?
I think it might be 65.
I think
know
it's
China
65%
also has
of the world's chips come from Taiwan. That's what
China-
China's after. That's what they want.
China also has a big portion. Japan as well. Indonesia and Vietnam, I believe.
And these are the chips in our debit cards?
In everything.
Wow.
In everything.
Cars,
That's why now
phones.
there's the supply
Wow.
shortage as well.
SD cards, I guess, yeah.
And
Included.
a chip shortage.
Yep. Damn.
Yeah.
This is
so
why
that's-
video cards ended up going to $1,600 a piece.
Damn.
That's
Wow.
what China is after, and that's what they want control over. If they control that manufacturing, they've got control
Yes.
over everything.
I'm glad you brought that up. And that's why they're not going to fucking try to fucking destroy the island, because they need those fucking facilities. A, they're much better than what's on the mainland. B, it'll help them to immediately just jump step. Huge. And they've got control of now it's obviously state controlled, but state controlled resources that now sways so much power in the world. Because all these governments, all these companies rely on these chip manufacturers. So now China will be fully in control of that.
Yeah, and if if China gets control over that, now if the United States does anything they don't like, well, guess what? You're not getting chips now, and all the companies
Oh, no,
around
no,
you,
we'll
you're
give you chips. We'll give you chips, but they're going to have all these embedded systems that will hack and be
Yep,
able
or
to
that.
be immediately, turn off your power grid, for example. You said something bad about us, and, we're pussies, so we want to save face. So, end power. And half the fucking West Coast goes out of power. So, yeah, that's
Yep.
what you're going to get with Chinese-made chips if they take over Taiwan.
But
Zelensky has put in a travel ban on males ages 18 to 60 from
I'm
leaving
glad
the
you brought that
country.
up. I was going to bring that up. There's so much to talk about it. But yes, 18 to 60,
Yeah,
he's
so-
disallowing, the president of the Ukraine, disallowing them from leaving the country. Is conscription far behind, gentlemen?
Mm.
And again, 60 years old? You're really going to send 60 years old into combat?
Sounds like desperation to me. I mean,
Sounds like it as well there.
Sounds
I'll
like the
just say-
AEW roster.
Someone
I'll
said my
just-
name.
yeah, that was me. I'll just say one last thing because I got to go here in a minute.
Back to the factory?
No, back to my house. If China doesn't side with Russia on this, don't be surprised if Putin decides to make a move on Mongolia. Don't be surprised. He'll turn on them on a fucking dime.
The Yakuts Peninsula has been an area of contention where I believe that's where you're going to see movement. There's been disagreements over the past 2 years between China and Russia in those areas. I don't necessarily believe that he would go for the entirety of Mongolia, but let's be honest, China has been trying to court Mongolia as well in an attempt to absorb them. Could it be some sort of battleground? Possibly. But I don't see that as a strategic point right now for Russia. Again, the Far East, though. The Far East in the Kamchatka Peninsula and so forth, Siberia, there's a lot of places there that are either on borders with North Korea or China. And there is disputes that have been going on for quite some time.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, if China and Russia don't work together in this situation, just watch
What do you
Putin
think?
turn on them.
Well, what do you think? Well, what do you think about what Biden was asked earlier today when I played that clip, which was, have you been in discussions with China in regards to this whole situation? He's like, I'm not going to comment on that.
Yeah,
I think his exact words were, "I'm not prepared to answer that."
I paraphrased. Thank you.
No, but those two different phrases say it a little bit different to me.
Okay, well, feel free to correct me. It's fine.
Yeah, he did say he's not prepared to answer that question, and that says everything.
Well, yeah, I'm not prepared to answer that question at this time, I believe was the entirety of the statement.
I have no proof, no evidence.
Which is
for
indicative
this,
that there's something going on. But go ahead, Travis.
But I personally believe that the Chinese government has something on Biden. That
I can guarantee that.
If they wanted to release it, they could fuck him forever. And that's why he's not going to do shit in regards to China. That's why Trump, I think.
Well, then maybe I'm going to have to invest into some Chinese defense industry stocks because it seems like they know something that we don't.
They know that Biden knows what happened in Wuhan all along.
No, I don't know.
No,
about
he
that,
doesn't
but-
even know what happened 5 seconds ago.
Yeah, it's a crazy situation, and I hope it doesn't get bad because if one country starts launching nukes, they're all going to start doing it.
Well, yeah, it's inevitable. Nobody's going to stop after that.
Yeah, if Russia launches one, America's going to do it, and then China's going to do it, and they're all going to do it, and it's just going to. But I honestly don't think any of them except for Biden are dumb enough to do it. I don't think Putin's that stupid.
It's more profitable to keep people on the edge of fear with the threat of nuclear war than actually engage in nuclear war and lose the potential to continue to hold all this power and make all this money.
Not to mention we'd all be dead, including him. So,
well, that's
true.
That's
Yeah,
the point.
all of us.
And even if he was to go to some underground bunker, what world are you going to be ruling over after? One that can't fucking pay any taxes and keep you living in the lap of luxury.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No caviar for you.
And nothing will
Dave,
be edible.
$100 sandwiches for you.
Dave, I don't know if you've touched on this or if you've looked it up or not, but Ukraine has a lot of resources, more than just oil.
I did say that, yes.
Yeah, they've got resources. They're one of the most resourceful countries in Europe.
Yep.
I mean, there's a reason Putin wants to have some control there. It's pretty clear.
Obviously,
that's the same. You could say the same thing about the West.
Yeah, and that's true. Now, Dave, do you know, because I don't know this, is Ukraine asking for help from NATO? Is that something that's going on?
No, I have not seen anything of that.
And what is the Ukrainian government's thought of the United States even interfering in this situation?
I haven't seen any direct responses from the Ukrainian government in regards to requesting
help from
intervention from the United States or NATO, for that matter.
Okay. Because I don't know either. And I would think that if Ukraine doesn't want NATO and the United States to be intervening in this, then we're just making things worse for no reason.
Yep.
You know.
Exactly.
And we're giving Putin all the ammo to call us out right on what we're doing. Like, you're getting involved in something they don't even want you to be involved in. You know? The United States is definitely not innocent in this. So
No, definitely not. Again, they've been supplying weapons for many, many years. They've supplied, aid, relief, and such. But basically for those that are waging these wars in these disputed areas. So, there's definitely a lot of blame to go around.
Well, unfortunately, I got to go. As soon as I step in my house, I lose all reception. So I really like Dave reviewing Joe Biden. I think it's great content.
It's like a drama stream just with Joe Biden. That might be a new concept for you, Dave.
I think it's great.
Yeah, maybe I'll try that.
It's the content we all didn't know that we wanted.
And when Dave doesn't exactly have an exact thing to comment on, but he needs to pause because it's been a minute, he'll just pause and go sniff some more child hair, asshole.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
start the clip again.
I'm all for more Dave reviewing Joe Biden. I just want to
maybe Joe Biden will call in someday.
Okay,
Yeah,
you know what? I'll strongly consider that because the guy has so many gaffes that I could definitely see a show going on there.
Yeah, I'll try to put Drew. I'll try to put Biden in right now and see if we answer.
Yeah. If anyone can pull someone in, it's YR.
Yep. All right, guys. We'll have a good rest of the night. Peace out.
Take care, and
have a good
thank
one,
you again
Travis.
for your input.
Stay safe.
Yep.
The unique perspective of the
Travis, thank you for having Keith back in the chat. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yo, my mom says Joe Biden does not have dementia, and she has an explanation why it looks like he has dementia. Because when he was younger, like, he stuttered, so he got rid of the stuttering, and before he does a speech, like, he thinks in his head, all right, I'm not gonna stutter, and then he does a speech and he doesn't stutter. That's
I
what
would have to dispute that because Cody Rhodes overcame his stuttering for the sake of his promo work.
No.
And okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say that apparently the stupid apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Please continue, Drew.
I was just saying that I don't think overthinking your stutter is cause for you being a dimwit on stage or in front of a podium or whatnot. The example I was giving with Cody Rhodes is, if you remember, like his first year, he was he was like fucking Fax Channel up there talking.
I don't actually. I don't remember that.
And go back and
I
watch
wasn't really aware of that myself.
Had an impediment, didn't he?
You should talk with a list like this. I'm going to take care of business when he did his promos there.
But it worked for him. With Cody, it was just annoying, and they obviously worked on it with him. I think he went to a speech therapist or whatever they call those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't heard him speak recently, so I don't know if he's continued to overcome that. But for a while, you could tell he had really reeled that in, at least for his promo work. But he didn't sound like a fucking idiot when he was doing it, or he didn't sound like he was half awake or literally falling asleep at the podium, you know?
All right. I guess my mom is wrong.
No, hey, you're all entitled to your opinions.
Dude, I have to say your mom is wrong. I know that you can at least see this. This guy, you've seen this guy stumble. He forgets what's going on, the way he responds. You can see this guy's not all there.
Yes.
And it is the onset of dementia, because also I looked into this, is that, again, this guy's constantly being seen like eating ice cream and all that. And, they made fun of Trump because he got 2 scoops and everyone else got 1. Just like, that's fucking stupid to even bring up. But basically, from what I've been learning, that this actually works with people with dementia. It actually calms them down. It relaxes them, makes them cognitive
At
again.
ease.
Well,
So it's basically something, again, there's too many coincidences that line up, and I don't believe in coincidences, but let's call them that. And there's too many that line up that indicate, yes, this guy has full-blown dementia. And obviously, dementia doesn't mean you're always fucking drooling from the mouth and stupid. It means you're going in and out of this cognitive, state. Trust me, I deal with it every day. I know.
I know as well, because my mother suffered from that in the later years of her life.
Yeah. All right.
How's the gas prices around you guys? I mean, I know I heard Dave mention that, but I was meaning everyone else on the call, like Earl, for instance.
Well, I know there was a lot of complaints about gas prices going up, when the Biden got in there, whereas it was vice versa.
Not
with
now,
Trump.
Earl, like 2 2.25.
That's
like
good.
Like 2.50. All right.
All right. Is it at all gas?
You guys are in a good spot because you're in Texas.
Jesus, so you guys are usually around what we are. We're at $3.49 is what I paid today.
Wow, that's something.
And it was $3.19 yesterday, because I filled up yesterday too. I've been doing a lot of driving the last 2 days. So if it's really, are you sure, YR? It's 2 something?
Is it at all gas stations or one?
Not confirmed. That is not confirmed, but I don't drive. Earl,
Yes.
you drive.
Yes, I do.
Answer you.
Well, I haven't really checked myself, because I've been driving over the past couple of days. Co-worker's been picking me up to go to work there.
Oh, shit, it does say. It says 254 in Katy, 264 in Houston, 266 Cypress, so...
Look at Galveston, because Galveston's gas is really cheap. Is always cheaper.
Wow. That's cool.
Galveston.
How is your new car, Dr. Earl?
It's pretty good and damn good. It's good to be able to...
manual or automatic?
It's automatic.
-1 point.
All right. Would you think I should get a stick shift?
Absolutely. I fucking drive stick.
I am. For me, knowing my luck, I'll probably pull the damn thing out of it. I'd probably break the damn thing if I tried driving with a stick shift there.
Why?
I don't know. It's just because it takes a lot long. It would take a lot longer for me to learn stick shift.
You don't know stick shift? Okay.
Not really that much. I just know from watching Uber drivers and one of my buddies drive. Go ahead.
You are older than me. It was the standard, when it came to driving at your age, and when you came of age, I should say. And you don't know standard. I mean, it's manual. I mean, I'm so old school. I call it standard.
They don't have
standard transmission.
They don't have that in America.
Well, it looks like
they don't have them in America.
What, stick shift?
Well, I was just saying, it looks like I went to the wrong gas station. The ragheads must have got me this time, because it's 315, 319 in the rest of the city that I was at. And even with I looked up Galveston. It was saying 299 to 349, depending on where you go. But yeah, I guess I just went to the wrong place. So it's let's see, Kansas, the cheapest gas is $2.93, so it's even under $3 in some spots here.
Wow.
I want to mention one thing real quick. So it seems like somebody else also thinks like me, as many smart people do. This person on a certain website has published this statement. Don't be fooled. The Emergency Act Trudeau claims to have revoked was never fully ratified into law by the Senate. He's revoking something that never existed, a shell game with your rights and freedoms. This theater was a political maneuver to save face. He knew it wasn't going to pass. He's never had the legal authority to crush and punish peaceful protesters the way he did. His authority has always been self-appointed. Keep in mind, he's admitted he intends on retaining, illegally and corruptly, the same authoritarian fascist mandates and suppressive totalitarian orders he originally acted on. As well, they are, as we speak, working on a bill that will make it a crime to publicly criticize their totalitarian agenda. Stay awake, folks. There's lots of work to still do.
All right. With that, I'm going to head out of here. I'm going to do some stuff around here, and of course, to get ready for work tomorrow there.
Oh,
I know, yeah.
all right. Well, it was nice to have you.
It's good to hear all this information being passed around. That's for sure, man. And definitely, I'll still listen, go back and listen early on to listen more of this information that you were